Alright, what's going on, guys? It's time for my official Black Ops 6 review. The game has been out almost 2 weeks now. I've pretty much played at least like 8 hours a day, every single day since it's been out. Some would call it a job, maybe, but this is gonna be a multiplayer only review. I did actually play some zombies. I thought it was fun, but it's not really my place to speak on that. I haven't played any campaign. That's just not really my thing. I didn't even download the campaign, honestly. But I think I'm pretty qualified to speak on multiplayer, so that's what we're going to do. And as usual, I'm going to start with some general thoughts about the game, and then I'll break it down into the more specific categories. As always, we will do maps, weapons, perks, and kill streaks. But first, let's get started with some general stuff. They said that this was actually the biggest Call of Duty launch weekend ever. I think it's kind of crazy that Call of Duty has been around so long, and I guess it's still growing. I think part of it is that this game is on Xbox Game Pass, and you can access it on PC through that, so a lot of people I know are doing that. Also, it's part of the Black Ops series, so, you put Black Ops in the name, people are going to want to try it out. I wish they would show the actual player count like they did back in the day. That was always just cool to see, you know what I mean? I don't even know how accurate it was. They could have just been making those numbers up, but I would like to see the player count. I think that's interesting. So first off, let me say I really like the way this game feels, like the movement and the gunfights and the gunplay and everything, just like the general overall feel of the game. It feels solid. I think the game is above average from a macro level. I really like the Omni movement, actually. I think it's well done. I don't know if they're going to carry this on for future CODs or this was just like a one-year thing. If I had to bet, I'm assuming the next game isn't going to have this Omni movement stuff. It was kind of just like a one-off, but you never know. But I think it creates a skill gap, and the more of a skill gap we can have, the better. Kind of tying into that is the time to kill. This game does have a higher time to kill. It's very similar to Cold War. I believe they actually specified that it's like slightly less than Cold War. This game reminds me of Cold War a lot, like I think at least, I don't know, maybe 1/3 to half the guns in this game were in Cold War. Like even visually, it kind of reminds me of Cold War with the colors and stuff. Not that this game is like the brightest game we have. We definitely like have had brighter games, like maybe like Black Ops 3 and stuff, but this game isn't like too dull, it's not like MW 2019 dull, so I don't hate the colors in this game, but they could probably spice it up a little bit. But I typically like higher time to kill games just because it creates an additional skill gap in your gun skill where you actually have to hit more shots, and I think you have to have a higher time to kill in a game with so much movement like this. Those two kind of go hand in hand, so it makes sense. And I'm kind of old, I'm not really a big movement guy, but I kind of like the way it works in this game, you know what I mean? I find a lot of times that I'm able to stay alive and kill people because I'm able to use the movement and the high time to kill, and it really does benefit me. Also, I did want to touch on the aim assist because this kind of ties into the skill gap as well. The tests have been done, and it has been confirmed that there is reduced aim assist in this game, specifically in the closer range gunfights, and then kind of the farther you go, the more normal and stronger the aim assist gets, which that kind of makes sense when you think about it. It also kind of evens out the aim assist for all inputs because close range is really where controller has the biggest advantage over mouse and key, so the reduced aim assist close range kind of evens that out a little bit, and then farther away mouse and key has the bigger advantage, so controller getting more aim assist farther away kind of evens it out at the longer distances. So it all kind of makes sense when you break it down like that. But I love the fact that there is reduced aim assist because that's just once again another thing that increases the skill gap. I truly do feel that there is like a big skill gap in this game when it comes to actual gunfights. Like there's always two separate skill gaps when it comes to COD. There's like the gunfight skill gap, as in like who shoots straighter, who got better reaction time, stuff like that. I don't want to call it a physical skill gap because we're talking about a video game, but you know what I mean. And then there's the mental skill gap, and that's like who knows the game better, who's making a better play, who got more map knowledge, who read the spawns better, stuff like that. And I think this game has done a great job when it comes to the skill gap in gunfights, between the movement, the time to kill, the reduced aim assist, it all kind of links together and just creates like a really solid gunfight skill gap. So I do really like that aspect of it. And then the last kind of big general thing I wanted to address were the spawns. Now, the only 3 game modes I really play are Hardpoint, Domination, and TDM. So my spawn experiences are based off of those 3. Those are like the big 3 respawn game modes. Obviously S&D is pretty big, but we don't really care about spawns for S&D. Hardpoint is probably the most important mode when it comes to spawns just because of competitive and rank play and everything. And I also think Hardpoint is the hardest game mode to get right. As of right now, I don't think the spawns are great. I don't think they're completely terrible. I would kind of describe them as like maybe below average, but not like completely awful, but they definitely could use some work. I think they're a little bit sticky. That kind of makes sense for Domination. I think it works, you know what I mean? In Domination, if you have the A flag, you should spawn on the A flag, unless of course like the enemies are like completely pushed up on A, capping it or whatever. Yeah, then you're gonna spawn out. But if the other team is at least not pushed up too far and kind of spawn trapping you on a certain flag, you should have to work your way out of it. You should keep spawning there. But Hardpoint is a little bit different, right? Because Hardpoint is supposed to be a competitive game mode. You should be able to block spawns and spawn people out and kind of like work the map accordingly. It's kind of essential to that game mode that it works that way. And I think this game has a little bit of revenge spawn influence, kind of like MW2 did. MW 2022 version, not the one from back in the day. If you guys remember how crazy the MW2 spawns were though a couple years ago, this game has a little bit of that. You know what I mean? Not to that extent, of course, but it does have a hint of that. And I feel like in this game, your player doesn't really block spawns by being near them. It was really bad in the beta. Like people would just spawn on top of you in TDM, which is so crazy when that's like an easy spawn flip when you're there, but they would still spawn on you. It's not as bad as it was in the beta. That's why I think it has been adjusted and they've improved it. And honestly, I think all they have to do is kind of do that same adjustment that they did from the beta to the real game. Just do it again. You know what I mean? Like just turn it up a little bit more from what they did. And I think it would be a noticeable improvement. But I will say the spawns have improved from the beta and like they're not the worst. You know what I mean? They're not the best, but they're not the worst. And then next, I have a couple like smaller random things to mention that don't really fit into any specific category. So I'm just going to mention them here in the beginning. Quickly, yes, let me address this one because I guess this actually is kind of big. This game has skill-based matchmaking. Every single Call of Duty from here on out and for the last, I don't know, like 8 years has had skill-based matchmaking. I don't know why skill-based matchmaking is such a big topic still. Yes, it's lame. Nobody likes it. Oh, I guess some people do like it. I don't know why. Honestly, I think the people that like it are not in that highest tier. They don't really get it. You know what I mean? Like, because I think everybody in the highest tier, they don't really like it. But regardless, they've been kind of transparent about it over the last year or so. They released all those like documents and the research papers. And if you looked at those documents about skill-based matchmaking, they said that in their research, they found that skill-based matchmaking makes people play the game longer and stay on the game. And if people stay on the game and they play it more, they're more likely to spend money. So at this point, skill-based matchmaking is a monetary thing. They have decided that skill-based matchmaking makes them more money. So let me tell you right now, if you need to still hear this, it is never going away. And I don't know why it's still such a like big topic to debate about. In my opinion, like just manipulate it or deal with it or don't play Call of Duty. You know what I mean? Like sitting here and crying about it every day, like I don't get why people are still doing that. Like that's what we were doing 6 years ago. We were saying, hey, this shit's dumb. Why is this in the game? Like people are still doing that now, almost a decade later. Like it just doesn't make sense to me. Like find a different solution, man. Like there's plenty of solutions. You know what I mean? So that's all I'm gonna say about skill-based, man. Yes, obviously it's lame. No one wants it, but it is what it is. Aside from that, some additional stuff. This game has like some additional pay-to-win audio package that you can buy. I say pay-to-win. I don't even know if it is pay-to-win, honestly. I watched a couple YouTube videos of people who bought it and did some testing and like they showed the audio and stuff. From what I could tell, like yeah, it does seem like it makes the audio a little bit better, a little bit louder, but it didn't, I don't know. It seemed like maybe it was placebo or I don't know. I didn't buy it myself to test it, like, and that's just the principle of it, you know what I mean? I'm not spending $20 on your audio package purely off principle. I don't care if it helps you or not. I play on PC. I can just turn on sound EQ, which is just as good, if not better, than your little audio package. package, so it doesn't really make sense for me to buy that. I just want to touch on it because I know it was kind of a big issue. I think it's dumb. I definitely don't recommend people buy that. And I think it just leads us down a bad road, you know what I mean? Like if they see enough people supporting it and buying it, what's next? You know what I mean? What other packages will they try to sell us? Like will they try to sell us like a graphics package or whatever, or stuff like that? Like I just think like we shouldn't be supporting stuff like that because it could get ugly real quick, you know what I mean? Just wanted to mention that as well. I did want to say I think this game is like poorly optimized for PC from like a frame standpoint. Like I was originally getting like 130 FPS on this game, which that's pretty bad, right? Like a PS5 gets 120, so a PC shouldn't be getting the same as a PS5. That's kind of crazy, right? And I have a 3070 to be clear, so I don't have like some insane $5,000 PC, but I mean I have a respectable PC, you know what I mean? Last year on MW3 I was getting like 180 frames, you know what I mean, which I think is like kind of respectable. That's kind of like what I want if I'm going to be on PC. And keep in mind this is on like very low graphics settings, right? I play on like the lowest settings possible, everything turned off that I can turn off, everything low, you know what I mean? But actually what people ended up finding out is you have to go into like the documents and the config files or whatever. I don't know all the exact terminology here. You can just look it up on Twitter or YouTube, but you have to go into the game files and you have to edit like a couple of lines of the code, and I did that, and then it instantly gave me like 50 more frames. So now I play on like 180 frames, which I think that's acceptable, you know what I mean? Like that's fine with me. I don't need 300. Like I just want a little bit more than a PS5 if I'm going to be on PC, right? So I just wanted to mention that, maybe help some people, because if you aren't getting the frames you think you should be getting, it's not your fault, it's the game's fault, and it can be fixed. So I just wanted to mention that here. And then finally, they acknowledge the fact that you are not able to talk to the other team in the post game, like on the scoreboard and like when the game is ending or whatever. They claim it was a mistake and they're going to fix it. I don't know if I believe that. In my opinion, they just went soft and they were hoping that nobody would care that you can't talk to the other team. But everyone started complaining and wondering what was going on. And then they said, oh, actually, it's a mistake. We're working on it. Whatever. As long as it goes back to normal, especially for like rank play and stuff, I think that's kind of important. You know, you just competed. Like, I should be able to talk to their team. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, it is what it is. Like, I don't think I'm asking for too much. I'm not saying I'm gonna say anything too crazy. Like, I might or I might not, but at least can I have the option? Like, damn. And even in pubs as well, like, you know, S&D, like, you know, it's just like, it's kind of part of the culture to like talk to their team in Call of Duty. Like, I don't get why we're taking that away. It's just kind of weird to me. So they said they're gonna fix it. We'll see. I don't know when, maybe in the season 1 update or whatever. But anyways, with that being said, let's get into the actual detailed breakdown now, category by category. We're gonna start with the number one most important issue in this game, the thing everyone's talking about, the maps, right? The maps in this game are not great. I don't think it's the worst maps we've ever had at launch in Call of Duty, but it's very underwhelming. I mean, we only have 12 6v6 maps to begin with. I wish we had more. You know, it would be better if we had more. So there's 12 regular maps, there's 4 face-off maps. I'm not really going to talk about the face-off maps because, like, they're great for camos. Like, Stakeout is, like, the greatest camo map they've ever added to Call of Duty. Like, it's just so good for getting, like, any camo you want, especially, like, you know, the baseball bat and the knife and stuff like that. It's just so good. You know what I mean? It's so easy. But, you know, those maps are just chaotic. They're not really, like, there's nothing to analyze. You know what I mean? It's just, it's a tiny map. It's fun. It's good for camos, whatever. Good for kills. Not really anything to talk about. The actual 12 6v6 maps that they have made in this game, man, they are disappointing, you know, which is weird because Treyarch is kind of known for having good maps. So, like, I don't know what happened with this game. You know what I mean? Like, to think that the same people that made, you know, Firing Range and, you know, Raid and Fringe and Arsenal and like all those maps from all the Black Ops games, like all the best maps, those people made the maps in this game. Like, well, what the hell happened? Like, CTE kicked in? Like, what's going on? Like, this doesn't even make sense. Like, what the hell is going on? And I don't think there's any maps in this game that are just like downright abominations. Like, for example, Stonehaven from Ghosts. Like, I don't know if you guys remember that map. I'm pretty sure it's the biggest map in Call of Duty history. Like, clearly somebody was on fucking crack when they made that shit. Like, that shit didn't even make sense. Like, you would play Stonehaven and the game would end in like TDM, it would be like 40 to 30. You know what I mean? Like, you couldn't even find people. Like, it just didn't even make sense. Like, I don't know how that happened. Like, there's nothing in this game where I'm like, wow, like, are they on crack? Like, why'd they make this map? You know what I mean? I think probably Red Card, in my opinion, is the worst map. I think it just plays terrible. I just don't like the map. Also, I'm pretty sure Protocol is one of the maps that is just straight up taken from Warzone. It even has zip lines on it. Like, come on, like it couldn't be any more obvious. I'm pretty sure when we get the new Warzone map, we'll see Protocol on that map. I can almost guarantee it. You know what I mean? I can just tell. I hate that nowadays a lot of these maps that they're putting out are straight out like ripped from Warzone. Like, I don't know, are they lazy or they don't have time? Like, or I don't know what the excuse is for why they keep doing that, but like, they're not even designing multiplayer maps. They're just like taking sections of Warzone and putting it in multiplayer and saying, here, take it, this is a map. Like, that's just unacceptable, man. Like, we gotta actually sit down, put some thought into it, and make actual maps that are catered to multiplayer, you know what I mean? Like, I get it, Warzone is the priority now, but like, can we at least put a little bit more effort into multiplayer? And then as far as the good maps, I think Babylon is probably the best map. Like, it's just very fun, it's very chaotic. It plays like a super tiny map, you know what I mean? Like, it almost plays at the pace of like Shipment or Nuketown. Like, it plays at that pace, but it is like way bigger than both of those maps. But just the way that it plays is like very fast paced and fun. I think Vault and Skyline are the two best, like, fundamentally like good COD maps. I know the pros are using both of those maps for competitive. They're very solid maps. They're good. I wish there were more maps like that in this game, but I still don't think they're like nothing to get too excited about. But you know, they're solid maps. As far as pubs go, I enjoy playing Payback and Subsonic as well. They're on the smaller side. I don't think they're like as fun or good as Babylon, but they're okay. You know, I enjoy them. You know, you can get a lot of kills on both those maps, like a lot of gunfights, a lot of action. Like, it's fun. You know what I mean? Not too bad. I think Red Card and Scud are just straight up bad. Like, I don't like them. I played Scud a little bit to do like some challenges or whatever. Like, it has a purpose, I guess, but Red Card I think just sucks. I don't like it. And then the rest of the maps are probably all just like, I guess, mid. Like, I think Rewind, Lowtown, maps like that, like, they're just kind of mid, like, whatever. If they come up, I might play it, I might back out. Like, I don't really care, like, depending, you know what I mean? Like, if Red Guard comes up, I'm gonna back out the lobby. I'm just not gonna play it. And if like Babylon pops up, I'm like excited. I'm like, hell yeah, let's play Babylon. So that's kind of like my feeling on it. This game just has a map problem, you know? We gotta be honest about it. But a game having a map problem isn't the worst problem to have. Season 1 drops on the 14th, and that's right around the corner. It's coming up. We're going to get a few maps in that. We're definitely going to get at least one remaster in that. And they're going to keep adding more and more maps to this game as time goes on. The question, I guess, really is like how good these maps are going to be and how quick they'll add them to the game. I think eventually we will have a solid map pool in this game, right? Like, even though, you know, we're not happy with the maps right now, I think it's a problem that will be fixed, you know what I mean? And hopefully fixed as soon as possible. I know it's already been leaked. We're supposed to be getting, you know, like remakes. I don't know if they're going to be remakes or remasters, but Firing Range, Hacienda, Yemen, WMD, and some other maps as well. I'm forgetting, like, a lot of these maps are known to be coming back. They already, like, confirmed it. Hopefully they've done a good job. I think they did a good job with Nuketown. They pretty much remade the original Nuketown from Black Ops 1. There's very few changes. It's basically the same, and it visually looks very good. And I always thought the Black Ops 1 version of Nuketown was the best Nuketown, so like, I'm pretty happy with what they've done with Nuketown. If they can do just as good of a job with the other like remakes or whatever, I think we're in for a great situation. So I got some hope with the maps. I don't think it's like completely a lost cause, just based on the leaks and kind of how Call of Duty has gone the last couple years with the maps. Like, I think we're gonna be okay. You know, it might be a slow start. It's gonna be a little rough here at the beginning, but it should get better. Next, let's talk about the weapons. I've used every weapon in this game. All I need now for Dark Matter is the launchers, but since Season 1 is about to drop and we're gonna get, I think, 4 more guns, you don't actually have to do the launchers if you don't want to. You can just wait and then do like 2 normal guns instead, because it doesn't matter what guns you do. You just have to like do the, I think 33 out of 33, right? So if you want to get Dark Matter right now, you don't want to wait like a week or less than a week for Season 1, you can, but like, I just don't really care that much, so I'm just gonna wait and save myself the headache of doing the annoying launchers and just do the normal weapons instead. I think it makes more sense. But anyways, I think this game has pretty good weapons. A lot of them were in Cold War as well. It's hard to not do a good job with weapons. Like, I don't think I've ever played any Call of Duty and complained that like the weapons were bad, you know what I mean? Like, there's always going to be some gun that you like or whatever. Like, the more important important aspect of it is the weapon balancing. And I think they're keeping a close eye on it, and they should be handling it appropriately. They already put out one patch to nerf all the ARs and buff all the SMGs. And I agree, like, ARs are the better weapon in this game. They are very good. Even after the patch, I still think ARs are better than subs. The best ARs are probably the Model L and the XM4. I know the pros already banned both of those for competitive. I think they've all decided to use the aims this year. I like all the ARs. I think they're all good. My favorite is probably the Model L. I really like that one. But, you know, I'm pretty happy with how they've done with the ARs. As far as the SMGs go, I'm pretty sure the pros are now using the Jackal, and that's my favorite one as well. I use that one a lot. The thing is with SMGs in this game is that they really drop off at range. Like, you're not going to be in a good situation if you're trying to, like, chow people with ARs with an SMG from, like, really long distances. Which, I mean, that's how SMGs are supposed to be. But it just kind of depends on the COD, because a lot of the CODs, especially, like, recently, they have had SMGs that could shoot pretty far. In this game, you definitely feel the range drop off. You know what I mean? It is pretty drastic. And if people are far away, it's going to take a lot of bullets to kill people with SMGs. You know what I mean? And if you're just trying to chow ARs, like, it's not going to go well. But close range and even like medium range, SMGs are pretty good. You know, I think the C9 is pretty good. It's like MP5. I even think the Tonto is interesting. You know, it has a slow fire rate. You could put rapid fire on it. Yeah, I think it's pretty good. I even think the KSV is decent. The PP90 is decent as well. They're not like as good as the Jackal in my opinion. The only one I guess is a little bit of an issue maybe is the compact, because it shoots very fast, but it has like no range at all. Like, it's like on certain maps you can definitely use it, but if you try to shoot someone from far away with that, like, you don't really have much of a chance with that. But honestly, like, I'm pretty happy with the SMGs as well. I think they'll continue to balance the weapons. That's not really something I'm worried about. I mean, I don't really have much else to say. Like, I don't know if anyone is looking for any LMG or shotgun analysis. Like, I don't got nothing for you. I mean, also, I'm not a sniper, you know. I mean, I got the camos for them, but like, I'm gonna let the sniping people talk about the sniping. You know what I mean? That's their area to talk about. I'm not really an expert on that. So next, let's talk about the perks, because perks, I do have a few important things to talk about. Issue number 1, recon. So when you run triple blue perks, you get the recon bonus, and you get wall hacks for 2 seconds off every respawn. I'm sure you guys have all experienced this by now if you've played the game. Now, they have acknowledged that it is an issue, and they actually did a slight nerf to it already, which they changed the duration of it from 2 seconds to 1.5 seconds. I mean, cool, I guess. Thanks. I don't know. That doesn't really fix the problem. That's not much of a nerf. They did say there will be additional nerfs to it as well. In my opinion, what they probably need to do is just nerf it to like 0.25 seconds. So more so where it's like, it's not wall hacks, but it's like a flash on your screen. Like just a very split second, like, okay, boom, you can see where everyone is, and then it goes away. Because the way it is right now, you can see them literally like moving through the wall, and you can almost like, you get wall banged a lot in hardcore. If you played any of that, I definitely played a lot of hardcore for my camos, and people would just sit with recon and just wall bang you off spawn, and it's very annoying. So they just need to make it more of like a little flash on your screen, so you can kind of have a general idea of maybe where people are, but you can't just like trace them through the wall and pre-fire them, and like, you know what I mean? It's just like, it's just very dumb. Honestly, I don't think it should be a thing at all. I think it's super lame, but if we have to make it a thing, let's make it as minimal as possible. So that's issue number 1. Issue number 2 is Ninja. Ninja is not silent in this game. It's actually, I'd say, fairly loud. First of all, footsteps in this game without Ninja are completely absurd. If you are playing anyone who is even slightly competent or even just has sound, you don't have to be that good. If they just have sound, you have to use Ninja or you will get sound hoard badly. You know what I mean? And even with Ninja, you're still decently loud. Like in S&D or free-for-all or game modes where there's not like so much crazy action going on, you will hear everyone still pretty easily, even with Ninja. Now in respawns, depending on the situation, like you may or may not hear people because there's just so much other stuff going on. But even on like Nuketown, I can still hear people with Ninja sometimes, like, you know, depending on the situation. And Nuketown is about as chaotic as it gets, right? So I think it's really that simple, man. Just make Ninja be silent. That's it. Easy fixed. That's the whole point of the perk, is to have you be silent. The fact that you can still hear people and it's still this loud doesn't really make sense. So aside from those two issues, I kind of like the perk system. There's a lot of creativity with it, you know, with the different color tiers and the bonuses and stuff. Like the red bonus is very good. You basically get quick fix, which is helpful. The blue bonus is obviously the recon, see-through walls, BS. No one likes that. It's lame, but it is good. The green bonus is like, I think, extra score for doing OBJ, which I guess it's okay, but like not really that like good compared to the other two. I don't think Flak Jacket works in this game. I don't know if it's glitched or if it's just weak or what's going on, but you still die to a lot of explosives. Even with full health with Flak Jacket, you still die. I don't know what's going on with that, but they either need to fix it or buff it. One of the two, because it doesn't work like it's supposed to. And also, I don't think the perks are balanced like tier-wise, because like the perk 1 slot has most of the good perks. It has like 5 good perks in it. And then perk 2 and perk 3 only have like 2 good perks each. You know what I mean? I don't know if that was on purpose. Like maybe it was because they wanted you to make sacrifices and not have like all the best shit. But like my ideal setup would be like Ninja, Flak Jacket, Bankroll, and then maybe like perk Greed, Dexterity, or Ghost or something. But like 3 or 4 of those are all in perk 1, so I can't have all those. I guess they did that on purpose. It's whatever. I can live with that. You know what I mean? I can make that sacrifice. It's not a big deal. My main concern with the perks is we need to nerf the recon bonus and we need to buff Ninja and make it silent. And finally, let's wrap this up with Killstreaks. I really like the Killstreaks in this game. They're very good. The harp was originally broken, as in the arrows were facing the wrong direction and stuff. They fixed that, which is good, thankfully, because that was really annoying me when the game first came out. One thing I will say about Killstreaks in this game is I wish there were like a couple more like mid to higher end to like very high end non-user controlled kill streaks, like dogs or swarm or harrier, something like that, where you can just kind of get a little bit more kills, because they have the attack helicopter, which is, it's okay, but it's like nothing really too special. But the high end kill streaks are very good. You know, they have the Black Ops 1 chopper gunner. It's literally like a copy from Black Ops 1, like the animation and everything. And the Dreadnought is also very good. It's like an AC-130, but a lot of times those kill streaks don't work for a lot of these maps, so like I don't even run them. So I'd rather they add like dogs or swarm or something like that, so where I could just call in dogs on the other maps, and I think it would fit perfectly. Like ideally, I would like to run maybe like attack helicopter, harp, and dogs, you know what I mean, on the maps where like chopper gunner doesn't make sense. But most of the time now, I've been running UAV, counter UAV, attack helicopter, or harp. Well, I run harp all the time, and I run UAV most of the time, and then I'm either running like attack helicopter, counter, or maybe like another kill streak depending on the map. I would just like another like non-user controlled like good streak like dogs. I think dogs would fit perfectly in this game. But yeah, I like the streaks, you know, solid, nothing to really complain about. You know, it is what it is. Other than that, I mean, that's kind of it for the breakdown, unless I'm forgetting anything. Let's go ahead and wrap this up, right? I think the game is pretty solid, man. I think the longevity of this game and how good rank play will be this year really depends on how good these DLC maps are. Like, for example, if you think about Cold War became way better once they added Raid and Standoff and Slums and Hijacked and all the other maps that they added. Like, it became way better. Same with last year. If you think about last year, that game, especially rank play, became way better once they added Rio and Vista and the more fun hardpoint maps. So I still have hope that we can have a good year. This is a very fixable problem, you know what I mean? A map problem isn't the worst problem to have, especially nowadays. Like back in the day, a map problem would have been really bad because you had to pay for DLC. Nowadays, with the free DLC that they be given with every season, a map problem isn't the biggest deal. So if I had to rate this game currently, I think I would give it a 6 out of 10. I think if we get better maps, and depending on how good the maps are, I could probably bump that up to like a 6.5 or a 7 out of 10. I don't think I could go any higher than that unless they really surprise me, you know what I mean? I just don't think we'll ever get another Call of Duty again that's like a 9 out of 10. And like a 9 out of 10 to me is like Black Ops 2. And the only reason I don't say 10 out of 10 is because that would imply that it's like perfect, and probably no game ever made is like perfect, you know what I mean? So like Black Ops 2 is like a 9.5 out of 10, I guess you could say. But I just don't think we'll ever get any games like that again because they don't care about multiplayer, you know what I mean? They only care about Warzone. So honestly, this game is probably the worst Black Ops game, which I know that sounds bad, but that's only because like all the Black Ops have been so good. Like Black Ops 1, 2, and 3 are all like in the top 5 of Call of Duty of all time, you know what I mean? And then you have like Black Ops 4 and Cold War, which are still pretty solid, but a step down from the first three. And I think if this game can get some better maps, I think it could be in the same tier as like BO4 and Cold War. I would have it below those two right now just because of the maps, but with better maps, I think it would be just as good as those two. If I had to rank this game all time amongst all the CODs, like it's somewhere in the middle. You know, I don't know how many total Call of Duties we've had. Like maybe like 20? No, probably like 17 or something. This game is like somewhere in the middle, you know what I mean? It's not at the bottom, but it's definitely not at the top. You know, it has some potential, but you know, it's decent. It's above average. It's not too bad, and I think it will get better. That's pretty much the easiest way I could put it. But yeah, that's pretty much it for my review. Y'all let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. It is on Game Pass, so if you have a PC or if you have an Xbox, you don't have to spend the full $70 to try it out. You know, I think Game Pass is like $20, $10 or something. I don't know. You could try it out for yourself, see how you like it. I think it's worth trying. You know, at least the movement system is pretty cool if you haven't played the game. So, you know, give it a try, see what you think. But yeah, anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to like, rating if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're not already. Follow me on Twitter. Links in the description down below. Check out my last video if you missed it. Other than that, have a good day and peace out.